Do you think a scary challenge could actually be your game changer? I spent years dodging the spotlight, telling myself I wasn't camera material or good enough on stage. Then a decision, launching my own company and needing to speak more often, pushed me into practice. Discover how that risk transformed not just my communication skills, but also my entire sense of possibility. Sometimes it's one bold step outside of your comfort zone that reshapes your entire outlook. For me, tackling public speaking and eventually filming myself was that leap. Today I'll share how that single self-improvement challenge took me from an anxious avoidance to confident communication, fueling both my personal growth and my ability to help others. For the longest time, I told myself I would improve my speaking one day. But every time I saw a mic or a camera, I would freeze. Deep down, I worried about looking foolish. Over time, I realized this fear blocked me from sharing my ideas more widely. My voice never reached the audience that it could help. Eventually, it clicked. If I really wanted to share content or build an online presence, I had to face the camera. My internal tension grew. I wanted to produce meaningful content but dreaded a lens or a stage. I learned all the theory, trained for a very long time how to speak, but never actually put it to a real test. The turning point came when I started my own business, a path that demanded more visibility. Live presentations, recorded videos, speaking engagements. There was no place to hide anymore. Adrenaline soared each time I pressed record. My early attempts were awkward, with a shaky voice and anxious eye contact. You can still see it on YouTube. But the consistent repetition forced me to adapt. It was like a steep hill. Tough at first, but each climb built strength. I discovered that the more I did it, the less terrifying it felt. The initial sweaty palms eventually turned into manageable nerves and then into focused excitement. It's only been a few months since that moment, but I can already feel a big difference, and that's really a power of repetition and taking that brave first step to act on your insecurities. Once I began sharing tips and insights through the videos, I got feedback from people saying, "That helped me more than you know." That's an incredible feeling. Realizing that my voice or advice could genuinely benefit others overshadowed the anxiety of being judged or criticized. I was so busy thinking, will they laugh at me? And that's the fact that most people are grateful for useful content and others just don't really care. The shift from "I'm scared about me" to "I want to serve you" fueled an unstoppable momentum. The reward of making a positive impact dwarfed any lingering nervousness. With each new talk and the video, I discovered that the most viewers or listeners aren't hypercritical. They're focusing on the message, not picking apart tiny mistakes. My earlier assumptions that everyone was waiting just to give me critique was mostly in my head. In truth, people emphasize if you stumble a bit. They often admire your courage. Busting that myth of universal judgment freed me. I started to see mistakes as part of the human touch. Over time, those slip-ups decreased anyway, but because I gained more experience. But very often though, we overestimate the size of the fears and anxieties. And when you actually start doing something about them, you realize that yes, it was challenging, but nowhere close to the level that you imagined. Practicing public speaking or filming yourself reveals small problems you never knew you had. Maybe you mumble certain words or shuffle your feet. You correct them gradually, building a stronger presence. My confidence soared as I spotted progress with every new attempt. Better posture, steadier voice, clearer delivery, and better tonality. And that progress in one skill area rippled into other parts of my life: work negotiations, personal conversations, and even tackling other challenges. It brings confidence that you can actually do it. Ultimately, the biggest lesson was shifting from "I must protect myself from embarrassment" to "I'm doing this to offer something valuable." That purpose-driven mindset overshadowed the fear. Each video or speech became less about me and more about the audience gain. That's a powerful formula for sustained drive. Once you anchor your efforts in serving others, anxiety loses its grip. And when you eventually find the purpose behind what you do, it helps you become more resilient and allows you to go through more similar challenges. The initial step, whether filming your first clip or volunteering to speak publicly, is the scariest though. But if you can gather the courage just once, the subsequent attempts get easier. The first leap is where 90% of people stall, and this is where most of the real self-development gets stuck. Many people learn theory but give up when it comes to making the actual attempt and putting that into the test. I didn't just wing it. I studied communication techniques, watched back my recordings, and noted improvements. Keeping track of small goals like improve eye contact or avoid filler words each week leads to consistent, measurable progress, turning "I'm terrified" into practicing specific skills gave me more control. Every challenge or a tip from an expert was another building block. It's very similar to any kind of confidence challenge you would face. But the only way to battle that fear is to keep doing it. We fear things because they are unfamiliar to us or because we have bad memories about them. So the more time you spend doing it, the more familiar you become and the less scary it is the next time. In everything I do, I look for tiny tweaks to improve. There's no finish line, it's an evolving journey. That approach taught me that conquering one fear often gives you strength to tackle others, like a domino effect of confidence. But above all, it helps you grow and become more confident in whatever area you pursue. Here's how you can replicate this breakthrough. First, pick a fear that you want to address. It could be public speaking, networking, writing, or leadership. Anything that you put off for ages. Then design a 30-day challenge. Put together daily and weekly tasks. Maybe record a 60-second video each day or volunteer for one small speaking role each week. Focus on value. Remember, it's not about looking perfect. It's about sharing something valuable. Shifting focus from your nerves to the benefit of others keeps you motivated. And then track and reflect. Keep short notes. How did you feel this time? Did you see any improvements? Over mouth, watch that progression. It's surprisingly fast at the very beginning. That learning curve is very steep. The challenge, facing public speaking and filming, felt terrifying, but it changed my perspective on self-improvement entirely. Because when you step into something that scares you, you realize that fear is just a gateway to massive growth. If you're hesitating on a big challenge, maybe this is your sign. Jump in, stay consistent, and watch your confidence unfold day by day. I can promise you, every time you do it, it's going to get easier.